Welcome back to Pulled Focus, the show where we speak to independent filmmakers from around the world. This is also part of the Deep Fried Film Festival 2022, and today we get to speak to one of the submitters for this year's film. So please welcome Marco Joubert, who is going to talk about himself and the film he submitted this year called The Primordial Impasse. So hi Marco, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm an independent filmmaker from Montreal, Canada. I do mostly experimental short films, such as the one I've submitted this year. I'm also self-taught. My background is more visual arts and architecture, but this is my 15th short film, all of them independently produced and made.
Brilliant. So we'll go have a little look at this year's submission.
Aucune volupté ne surpasse celle qu'on éprouve à l'idée qu'on aurait pu se maintenir dans un état de pure potentialité. Émancipation, bonheur, espace. Ces termes définissent la condition antérieure à la malchance de naître. La mort est une tragédie quelconque.
So the film so the film is done in French. What made you choose to keep it in French rather than using any other languages?
Well, that's my native tongue, being from Montreal, and the lead actor, the narrator, also is a French speaker, and he was perfect for this role. I prefer to go with subtitles rather than dubbing such a great performance, which would be a loss.
And how did you come up with the concept of the film? Because it is quite unusual.
Yeah, well, actually, at the time that I was making this film, I was working in a bookstore and browsing through the philosophy section. I just stumbled upon this book by Emil Cioran, and I don't know, I got the urge to do something about it. It turned into a film project quite rapidly. So this is how it came about from a job, from my day job.
And is that kind of the normal way that you find inspiration, just from everyday life, being at work, or are there other sources that inspire your work?
I think in recent years, literature has been a primary source of inspiration. So this would be the short in recent years, in the past like 3-4 years, that is directly inspired by text. 2 of them not written by me, 1 written by me, but still closely working with literature as a starting point. It's part of my recent process, yes.
And the film industry in Canada, how do you feel it's going now that kind of we've got over the sort of lockdown restrictions and everything that came with that? Is the film industry recovering?
It's really hard for me to answer this one because I actually I operate out the industry completely independently. My feeling is that there's lots going on. Yes, there are many talented people doing great things. It's a vibrant scene here in Montreal, and there is help available, but unfortunately so far I haven't gotten any, so I work with no resources. But yeah, I think it's doing well. I can notice too in some of the festivals that there are many films by Canadian filmmakers, which is certainly a good indication.
Yeah, we've had a lot of submissions from across Canada over the years, and quite a few this year as well. As an industry as a whole, Do you think it's something that kind of is actively encouraged from any young age to get involved in film, or do you think people kind of accidentally kind of fall into it?
Again, that's pretty hard question. I don't think it's specific to Canada. How more and more people can do decent quality films because of technology evolving and becoming affordable. So it's certainly more democratic worldwide. So in this sense, people can start early and do their own experiments, whether or not it's going to be their main path afterwards. Yes.
And while you were working on the Primordial Impasse, what sort of challenges did you face?
Well, the main one is common to all projects is working with no resources, no crew. So I've been to, kind of wear every hat: producer, screenwriter, cinematographer, director, editor, sound designer, art designer. So there's a lot of things to put together. That's the main challenge, but it also in a way it gives me total freedom. But it's this is a 3-minute film, and I think not many people realize how much work goes into even such a short piece. You have to do it to realize what it's about.
You also, with short films, you've got such a small window to get the message across. So when you're editing, is that a tricky process, or have you already got enough in mind of, no, that bit's not going to work, this is? I mean, how do you go about the editing to make sure the message comes through?
Well, yeah, it's lots going on in the editing. There are many possibilities. You could do films with the same base material. I feel at this point, because I've made quite a bit of films, I think I'm able to develop my own language, but I'm still experimenting as I go. In this case, I think I gave particular attention to the rhythm, and I used the black screen, not as a default editing trick, but rather it's one of the possible value of an image is that all the pixels are black out of the infinite possibilities, and cutting from black, cutting to black, what's the effect of this? How do you perceive the preceding and the following frames? If you go to black or not, and how long, and all of that. So I'm using minimal building blocks, but I'm trying to get the combination right. I think that's how I approach editing in general.
Because you're using the cuts to black or the fade outs and everything as part of the story, really, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I've experimented in this case, trying to what works best, different rhythms, different options. It's not something you can foresee, I think, when you shoot. You have to just judge whether or not it achieves the desired effect in the editing room.
And what are your plans for your next work?
I'm actually almost done with the new one. It's the first time that I work with pre-existing music. There's a great composer here in Montreal that have asked me to put images to a 10-minute piece of instrumental contemporary music, and it's really tremendously inspiring because the music is so good. The concept came super rapidly. It's a very complex project because there are really an eclectic variety of shots making the film, but it's coming along together nicely so far.
Fabulous. Well, the Primordial Impasse is showing at this year's Deep Fried Film Festival. We'd love to have you back on again if you're available once the films are running, and get your feedback on other works as well. But for now, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that was Marco Joubert. You'll be able to see the Primordial Impasse as part of this year's festival. Keep watching Pull Focus for interviews with other filmmakers that we have involved this year.